Dirty Sports, episode 915, live on YouTube in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Praino.
Hello, Andy.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. Is it afternoon? It is afternoon here, right? No. Yes, it's just afternoon. It's 12:10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here in Los Angeles, California. Happy good afternoon to you, Andy.
We're into March, Joe.
March.
Years flying by. The spring is coming. And my daughter is home.
Yes. What's your daughter's birthday officially?
February 15th.
And what's your daughter's birthday unofficially? I don't know why I said officially. What's your unofficial birthday? Okay, February 15th, and then got home a couple days ago, right?
Yeah, so she spent 13 nights in the NICU.
A new record.
And if she keeps going absolutely apeshit when we change her, she might be sent back.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. The kids are crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's the highs and lows of parenting. It's such a learning curve for me.
Yeah, the lows, they go crazy when you change them. The highs, cocaine. That was like a Pizza Starro meets a Norm Macdonald joke. Cocaine.
Yeah. Lack of sleep, but
Yeah.
I'm not the first person doing this.
No.
So, no
In fact,
sympathy.
technically, you're the last person doing it.
Yeah. I really
Since
am.
you started it yesterday.
100%. Yeah. You know how you said when you got Vince, it made you become an adult?
Yeah.
Because you had to feed him and walk him, and there's responsibility.
Yeah. Hopefully, you don't have that moment that I had with Vince where you come home drunk and pass out and your daughter chews through your jeans to wake you up.
Did he really do that?
Yeah. One time I woke up and was like, what the fuck happened? And then I realized he was like licking my fucking knees and chewing on denim that was the day where I was like, okay, fix your life.
He was chewing through your jeans.
I went he had chewed through. He chewed a hole about,
Amazing.
the size of a Big Mac through my jeans because I came home from happy hour and just like immediately passed out on my bed, and he chewed through them to wake me up. Like he must have been just tugging on it.
Was he a pup?
Yeah.
That's a pup move.
Yeah.
It's like, take me out, dude. What's going through his head there? Just looking at you.
Just like, really? Is he dead? Is he dead? He's dead? No, he's moving. Oh, maybe I got to get down to skin so I could get some tongue to knee contact and wake him up.
I've never heard anything like that. That's pretty wild.
I know.
That he would go through your actual, like the.
And then I was like, I have a dog now. It's time to grow up. You got to come home and take the dog out before happy hour or be coherent enough after happy hour to take him out.
Yeah.
From that day on, everything changed.
Legine. He was a legine.
Yeah.
What are you drinking there, Praino? You got some. It looks like some California juice right there.
Matcha, iced matcha latte with a shot of espresso.
Oh yeah.
It was a little bit of a rough morning. Speaking of dogs, we've got my girlfriend has an older dog, a Great Dane, a 12-year-old Great Dane.
Oh wow.
Basically 3 years post-death at this point. It's a ghost dog. Every time she takes it out, it's like, oh my God, the dog's so old. I mean, Great Danes. Again, I think we've talked about this before. You don't see a lot of 100-year-old 7-footers. You know what I mean?
No.
Shaq ain't living to be 90. I can guarantee you that much. So this dog just does not like the hardwood floors here. She's been living out in the desert with the parents lately. So we had to push the episode back today so I could get the dog into the car, into their Toyota 4Runner or whatever it is today. You know, basically had to lift this dog up, and it was a nightmare.
How much does the dog weigh?
Can't be. I mean, it's probably 80 or 90 pounds, but super skinny at this point. Old ghost. Literally looks like, you know, a zombie dog, but adorable still.
Look like the scene in the Indiana Jones when the guy takes the bad holy grail.
Yeah. She's great. She's a great dog. She was just they weren't going to be able to get her into the car without help.
Which, by the way, not to change the subject, which, by the way, should have been the last Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade.
I did not even see the last one.
I didn't either. Are you talking about the Shia LaBeouf one or the one since then?
Is there one since then?
I don't know.
No, I believe there's one coming out.
Yeah,
but I think that was the last one. I heard that I believe it was in the Shia LaBeouf one. The Crystal Skull. I believe there was a hiding from a nuclear explosion inside a refrigerator, and I was like, I'm good on that one.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Apparently, I didn't see it.
It's amazing to me, and I know some of our listeners are going to be like, you're an asshole, that people just continue to watch like the worst stuff, and then they'll just continue to make it. Like,
yeah.
If you're
Andy,
not watching
we've done 915 episodes of this show. People are still watching.
True.
Maybe don't talk people out of it, you know?
True.
We have 910 more sequels than Indiana Jones.
I say this as my brother and I last night were just texting each other nonstop about Con Air, how great it is.
Con Air is pretty good. Con Air is pretty good.
There's some funny scenes in there. I don't know how much intended comedy. I mean, Dave Chappelle falls into an old man who's going boomer in traffic from the sky. Like my brother texted me, he was watching it. But it was on AMC. He was watching it on AMC last night.
AMC is the only place to watch movies anymore.
Like, that's an American movie classic.
Every day. Last night I was like scrolling, and there was Point Break on AMC. I was like, this is an American movie classic. I now have my next hour or 90 minutes or so of plans have changed. They're out the window. I'm unavailable.
Funny.
I'm watching Point Break.
Yeah, everything's on AMC
I am an
now.
FBI agent. I know, man. Isn't it wild? What a comeback.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. So let's get to some sports.
Let's do it.
We got a fair amount to talk about. I'm actually all over the map today. I got some NFL. I got some NBA, Major League Baseball. We have a hockey update.
Hockey call
from our hockey correspondent.
I hope that
Ryan.
I hope the hockey call includes Kane to the Rangers, because that's, you know, as far as New York sports news goes, people are pretty hyped. Jalen Brunson wore a Kane jersey to the game last night.
He did. Well, let's just get to it right now.
You love to see it. Let's get oh my God, leading with hockey. What is going on? A whole new world. Andy's a father, and he's leading the show with hockey.
Let's go. You talking about it? I just listened to the call. Ryan, our official Dirty Sports hockey correspondent, calling in from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. That's a tough word to say. This is our latest hockey update that we do every few months.
What's up, guys? Ryan Cladd calling in from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. We've got some hockey to talk, whether you like it or not. It's trade deadline week in the NHL, so a lot of shit has been happening. I'm not going to get into everything because you guys aren't going to know a lot of the names being moved around, but there was one huge trade that happened Tuesday night that I need to get into. Patrick Kane, the Chicago Blackhawks legend, is going to the New York Rangers.
Let's go!
3-time Stanley Cup champion, Conn Smythe winner, MVP, arguably the greatest American-born player ever. What a get for the Rangers. Their forward group is looking fucking nasty now. They also acquired Vladimir Tarasenko from the Blues earlier this month, who was a big part of the core that won a cup there in 2019. And Kane was outspoken about his disappointment when deadline is on Friday, so some things can still happen, but most of the big names have gotten traded already. I also have to mention my Maple Leafs. They made a ton of trades and have stacked their team up for a deep playoff run. If they don't make it past the first round this year, I will jump off the Gordie Howe Bridge into the South Saskatchewan River. All right, I'll probably check back come playoff time. Stay dirty.
Now, Ryan's going to have to call back soon because I want hockey updates. I'm into it. The Knicks are good right now. The Knicks are on a winning streak. We're going to talk about that. I assume that's high on the NBA portion of the rundown. And then with the Rangers making moves, I mean, they're in playoff position right now. I saw that. It's always good when MSG is just bumping in the spring. It really it makes me miss New York. I feel a longing for New York when the city starts to thaw for the spring, and I'm like in high school doing a little spring baseball in the gym, taking it outside, maybe a cold baseball road trip, coming back in the van, listening to a Knicks game on the radio or a Rangers playoff game on the radio. There's something about spring at MSG that just, it makes me want to get on a plane to New York right now. But he's going to have to call back because I'm sure this is solvable with a quick Google search. But I was looking at the playoff standings. I know there's basically 3 teams make it from each of the divisions, and then you get 2 wild card winners. But I don't know how playoff seeding happens in hockey. If my, I guess common sense or just like general sports knowledge, it would be Rangers, Maple Leafs. So that's tough. Klatt's talking about them getting out of the first round, but also saying that the Rangers have loaded up and their forwards look great. So I don't know if that is officially a playoff matchup if playoff started today, but it seems like that could be one or the other.
Well, don't they just do it by conference?
Yeah, but they do it by conference, but I don't know how they seed it.
Okay.
In terms of, I don't know if it's like the 2 wild cards play the 2 division winners, and then is it the other 2? Do you go cross division, or is it just points, lowest points versus next highest points? I don't know. Maybe somebody in the comments can tell me what would the Rangers draw be today if hockey ended today.
We know nothing about hockey.
We know nothing about it, but I like it. And I really, I went to a Rangers-Kings game this year, my first ever LA Kings game. Obviously, I've been to a lot of hockey games, but for some reason, just never went to a Kings game. And love watching hockey in person. It was a great game. And now, through the magic of streaming television, I'm stealing Mikey's DirecTV streaming, so I get all his local channels. Amazing. I have SNY. I have MSG. I no longer have to deal with the intricacies of the MSG app. So now when I put on my DirecTV streaming guide, I'll see a Rangers game on. Knicks are off. I'm like, let's go. Let's watch it. Been watching a little bit more Rangers hockey this year. And, I'm excited to get into it come playoff time. And Patrick Kane. I didn't know he was the greatest American-born player of all time. I learned that today. So that's exciting. I'm going to start saying that.
He said arguably.
Yeah, well, I'm going to argue it because he's now on my hockey team. When people start talking, I'll be like, what do you mean? I would say Patrick Kane, the greatest American-born hockey player. I don't know who else would be in the conversation. No idea.
I have no idea either.
What's
crazy
Brett
is
Hull born in the United States?
Well, let me ask you this. When I just put in, out of curious, when he said, Patrick Kane, arguably the greatest American-born hockey player, where do you think he is all-time in scoring?
Like in goals or in points?
Points.
23rd.
43rd.
Okay.
So I guess my question would be, are there that many better international players?
Andy, scoring's not everything. Especially in hockey.
It's not?
Great two-way player? I don't know.
I have no clue.
I'm just excited we have him. I'm excited Jalen Brunson's excited. Jalen Brunson, greatest Knick point guard ever, arguably.
You were kind of lukewarm on that signing, though.
Well, I was lukewarm on the money, but that's proven I was wrong. He's actually now.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. Let's get a repeat. Joe Praino just said what?
Well, I said I was wrong, but I wasn't like I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. And the thing was, it was about the money. I actually liked Brunson, and I was lukewarm on the money because it seemed like it was an overpay, but it's actually been the complete opposite. Listen, I said on the podcast, I think last episode or the episode before, like, I don't want Daniel Jones to get $45 million from the Giants. I don't like it. I don't want now if for some reason they were to crack and give it to him and then suddenly he was the best quarterback in the NFC and I would be like, oh, well, I guess I was fucking wrong, Yeah. Jalen Brunson right now, and I heard I've been diving head first into the NBA in terms of just watching more and more. Like I was watching a lot of Knicks games, but now I'm watching like all the. We don't have football. Baseball is still in spring training. Diving head on into watching all the NBA games now that NFL's over, and in getting to watch a lot of the other players, I was like, man, Brunson's playing about as good as any point guard in the NBA. And then I heard JJ Redick, whose podcast I only have seen clips of. I've never actually listened to it, but I really like it. I just never listen to podcasts. He said, since not since the All-Star break, I think since whenever, playing as good as any guard in the NBA. I was like, phew. I mean, I was like kind of fanboying my own guy, but now if JJ's jumping on board. And I just that's what I love, Andy. That's what I love about New York. Showing up to the arena in the freshly traded for hockey jersey of a guy in the same build. It's good vibes, man.
Well, I don't think anybody saw. I shouldn't say I don't think anybody. I mean, he's having a really good year. I don't think most people, I should say, probably didn't foresee the amount of success he's having. I mean, let's not forget, he was a second-round pick. Not that guys can't slip through the cracks, but he was one of those great college players, wins a title at Nova. He's small.
Didn't seem like his game translated to the modern NBA, but now here
Correct.
He is banging threes nightly.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Kind of the anti-Ben Simmons, Everybody, oh, look at the upside Ben Simmons has. Imagine what he could become. Becomes nothing. Jalen Brunson, oh, not sure he has the upside. Too small, can't really shoot, not going to be a long-range guy. Here he is. It's just, it goes to show you, it's like it really is about that you can project so much, but you can't predict everything. You can't predict how hard somebody's going to work at getting better at the aspects of the game that they lack in.
Who's a good Jalen Brunson comp? Like from previous eras. I'm trying to think. Like, who's a good Jalen Brunson comparison? Even let's say the last 15 years.
I mean, he's not the passer Nash is, but the craftiness around the rim for a guy his size who doesn't elevate, the shooting ability, especially in the mid-range, him adding the three-point game. Clearly, Steve Nash's run and gun style and passing was, what made him everything. But like,
what about Tony Parker?
Yeah, Tony Parker. Sure. Okay. I like that. I'm okay with it.
Like, I don't know if that's the best, not the best shooters, but they're going to get you 6 or 7 assists, 20 points a game, make the team better. I don't know. I just think he's kind of unique because he's tough to think of a comparison.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like it is a tough comp because of the, he is great at getting, but it's the craftiness and getting to the basket, and it's the mid-range. He's not like He's not like a crazy assist guy.
Exactly.
But he is a great floor general.
Yeah.
And it's been fun to watch. And they're on a fucking winning streak. And I have been on fire with NBA bets last night, Andy. And I made so here's my fun Joey No Chill like gambling tip of the week. I feel like everybody who's ever gambled with any sort of regularity feels like, even though I'm sure the statistics of this are not true, feels like all their parlays always miss by one leg, right? It's like, oh man, 3 out of 4. If only. So my new strategy is, and last night, for example, in the Knicks game, I made a 4-leg parlay. Knicks to cover the 11. Or was it? Yeah, I think it was 11. Knicks to cover the over. Jalen Brunson over points. I think it was 26.5, which he got it by halftime. And Josh Hart 2 3-pointers. And then I was like, I'm sitting there and I'm breaking it down. I go, which one of these motherfuckers is going to undo my parlay? So what I did, and this is what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks since we got out of football, I'm making parlays, and I also bet every single thing single. And almost without fail, I would say if I lose a parlay, I lose it by one leg. But because I've bet all the singles, I still make money. Last night, I won the Knicks covering. I won the game being an over. I won Jalen Brunson over. I lost because Josh Hart, for some reason, made 0 threes. So I missed out on a 12.5 to 1 parlay, but hit 3 of 4 singles. Let's fucking go.
They were teammates at one point in Villanova, right?
I don't know. Andy, do you know how much I know about college basketball? Nothing.
Well, I'll say this. Not that I pay too close attention, but you talk about coaching matters at that level. Jay Wright leaves. Yeah. I know it's year one. I'm saying you probably don't know this. Villanova was 500 this year. When's the last time Villanova was 500? His first year out of retirement, like they instantly just tank.
And is he just retired?
He is. Makes you wonder, somebody like that, if they come back to another program or go to the NBA. Really good coach, man. Mm-hmm. All those years.
Really nice guy, though. There's a famous Jay Wright, Joe Praino, Pizza Star locker room interview.
You've referenced that a few times.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Way nicer than Lute Olson, who we also talked to.
R.I.P. Lute.
Yeah. Jim Larinaga, not nice at all.
Gotta be real careful when you say that name.
Yeah.
YouTube might demonetize us for that.
Yeah.
Praino's not taking my bait on that one at all, are you?
On what one?
Jim Larinaga?
No, I'm not. I was about to make a joke that we dead named him because he's, Jane Larinaga now, but that's why YouTube is going to... Where is he? Is he still at Miami?
Yeah, he is. I think they're pretty good. I don't know.
Don't care.
Well, March Madness is coming up.
Great.
You'll have a bracket.
Yeah, I'll have a bracket. Sure.
Right? You'll at least do that.
I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to just call it early. Ready? You ready for my national championship prediction? UCLA Bruins win the national championship.
Wow.
I base this on what, Andy? Nothing.
You ever been to a Bruin game?
Yes, I have. Super fun. Have you been?
I never went.
Bro.
I know.
You're a guy who, like, at least for part of your life was down, like, into college basketball. Such a legendary arena.
I know.
Pauley Pavilion. Here we are, beautiful Pauley Pavilion, so small. It's like I could wrap my arms around the entire crowd and give them one big hug simultaneously. There's less people here than there were on the Grateful Dead's tour bus after the Syracuse show in 1979. I mean, this is a little place filled with all kinds of heart, filled with all kinds of ghosts. The ghost of the great John Wooden is here. He's whispering in my ear, Bill, welcome home, big fella. It's good to have you. And I say right back to him, Coach. I'll always call him Coach. It doesn't matter how old I am. When I see him at the gates of heaven, I'll open my arms. I'll say, thank you for letting me in, St. Peter. Where's Coach? It's going to be so glorious when I get to spend the afterlife with the man who taught me everything, the great John Wooden. And where did he teach it to me? Here in beautiful Westwood, the beautiful Pauley Pavilion. The alliteration like nothing else. Pauley Pavilion. It's like pepperoni pizza, except more delicious.
I needed that. I needed that today. I needed that. Yeah. I need a little Bill Walton.
That was our weekday update, Andy, from Bill Walton.
Yeah. I like
if you will. Pa-pow. That's also an alliteration for shots fired.
I like that. Well, it looks like the Ruther curse struck LeBron James this week.
James.
At least that's what some dirtballs on Reddit were saying. It's pretty funny, actually.
It's so funny because I knew you were going to make – I knew going into that episode.
Last episode.
I knew going into last episode you were going to make the prediction that the Lakers go on a little run.
Well, you know why. It was that game, and that game was on national TV.
Against the Mavs.
And they're down 27.
Yep.
And they come back, and I'm like watching. I'm like, okay.
In case anybody's wondering about my NBA betting hot streak, I bet the Lakers money line in that game and then the live money line when they were down, I think, 20. Let's go.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this, I think this team can maybe gel, when D'Angelo Russell gets fully healthy. They got a core. And I said, somebody put it down on our Reddit. At 28-27, Ruther makes the comment, in quotes, I think the Lakers are going to make a push. And then you agreed. And then literally later that day, it's announced he had a foot injury during that game. And he's out a few weeks.
And now it looks like it's going to be like 3 weeks for an evaluation.
I saw that. I was just reading that. R.I.P. Lakers season. Maybe
I love that. By the way, I love that for you. R.I.P. Lakers season. I was going to say, hey, there's still, I mean, if Anthony Davis can play and D'Angelo Russell, maybe we get a what Bill Simmons offensively refers to as the Ewing theory. Maybe we get a little Bill Simmons Ewing theory for LeBron James, a little Lakers. A gelling of the Lakers just into a 10 seed without LeBron James. Add back the greatest player of all time, and you've got a potential run here. But I like the Andy Ruther RIP Lakers season. Pencil them into the 10 seed right now.
LeBron James. How old do you think that LeBron James kid is now?
LeBron James kid, fun fact, that is Jalen Brunson.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, so he's in the NBA now. He's one of the best guards in the NBA.
Having a great year.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? He all grew up. You got him. We got the Play 360 kid. I want to know where he's at these days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Remember the arm kid? Well, I saw, what was it? The one kid who was a meme is now like playing college football or whatever.
Really?
Yeah. The Popeyes kid or...
Wait, the Popeyes kid?
Andy, are you?
You're not talking about the guy who just got done the shift in Popeyes. That meme. The exhausted...
No, it's like the side-eye kid. Side-eye Popeyes kid. He became a meme at age 9. A decade later, this college football player has a last laugh. A deal with Popeyes. College freshman Dearnest Collins, road to internet meme fame, started with confused side eyes at Popeye in New Jersey.
Oh, yeah, that kid.
Yeah.
It's funny seeing him as an adult.
Yeah.
It's crazy with those name and image likeness deals now.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just get something random, right?
Yeah.
Like that. You were a meme.
Yeah.
Now that they're
Do
going
you
to pay
remember?
you?
Do you remember the crazy, creepy girl who's looking at the camera as the house burns beside her? She's now a field hockey player for Dartmouth. She has an NIL deal with Bic Lighters.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
That's not true.
I know it's not true. I was just trying to play along. I thought we could do it.
Cool.
I thought we were going to do a few more of those.
Little riff.
I thought I was going to maybe toss you a few more of those, but yeah, you ended it, Joe. Well, I know you're chomping at the bit to talk new Major League Baseball rules.
I am.
Because you have, you what's this saying? Like your cross to bear right now is arguing with people on Twitter about the Major League Baseball rules.
It's not all the rules.
Okay.
My issue, I'm not a like the game has to stay the way it was forever guy. I just think much like the NFL and much like, how many companies have we made fun of over the years where they don't, like, you see some ad and you're like, how did you not think of that? It's like, it just seems as though some of these rules are not the most well thought out in terms of how they'll be used in practice. And they put them into the minor leagues for a minute and they're like, look at what happened. And unfortunately, I just think that, again, as I've said on the show before, we're catering to a fan base that we're catering to people that don't watch. It's this idea of we're going to draw people in that don't watch. And I think it's that starting there, that's immediately the worst strategy, in my opinion. To me, the greatest issue in baseball today is that baseball commissioner, the baseball rules committee, Theo Epstein, who's a consultant who I read an article where he was quoted multiple times in today. They're thinking about the baseball fan that they want. The young fan isn't coming to baseball anymore. And as I've said on this show before, it's because you're losing. Baseball is a game that is passed down.
Yeah, you're losing their dad.
You're losing their dad. Like an old glove that's passed down from fucking, Field of Dreams is baseball.
Yeah.
It's a dad and a son. That's baseball. And you're losing the dad. And you're losing the dad for a lot of reasons. And I don't think that high on that list is baseball takes too long. Okay? So, listen, there's a lot of new baseball rules this year. Okay? Let's start. We'll just pick at random. Bigger bases. I don't give a fuck. Like, are people going to steal more? I don't know. They're saying it's for injuries, but they're really saying it's not for injuries. They're saying it's actually to make, guys get on base more, maybe increase stolen bases. Who cares? Bigger bases. I don't give a fuck. Fuck the bases. I never need to talk about this issue ever again. They banned the shift. Hallelujah. I just think with the quality of pitchers these days and the velocity on a lot of guys and the way pitchers don't go deep in games anymore and that they can just go to some random guy in the bullpen in the middle of the sixth who throws 102 with arm side run, the idea of just being able to play the shift, it was making it impossible to hit. And no one on earth is a bigger clown. No one in the history of sports, talking heads or opinions. I truly believe this. There's not a worse opinion than why don't you just hit the ball the other way? This great article I read today was I think it's Joe Poznaski or whatever his name is. He had an article about the new rules. He wrote it's in Esquire. Yo boy, Joey Votto, quoted multiple times in the article, just saying how insanely ridiculous it is for people to say, just hit a ground ball the other way. It's insanely ridiculous. So when you take a combination of what's going on with pitching, what's going on with hitting in terms of exit velocity and launch angle and all this stuff, I think when you add the shift to that, it really makes it difficult on hitters. And I just think banning the shift was obvious and sort of needed to happen. I don't necessarily think they should have forced every fielder to start on the dirt. I think putting your second baseman in short right field is fine with me. I played in short right field when I played second base. I just think that banning the shift, 2 guys on either side of the bag, seems obvious to me. So I'm in favor of that rule. We then get to what's probably the biggest one that's causing an issue, which is the pitch clock. And I think that the pitch clock is problematic for a number of reasons. Let's start with the biggest thing.
Well, let me say real quick
Sure.
before you explain. I'll just specify the exact rules because I have them right in front of me. So the pitch timer, these are the rules. 15 seconds, this is for the pitcher. 15 seconds with bases empty, 20 seconds with runners on. This is for the hitter. Hitter gets 1 timeout per plate appearance, must be in batter's box with 8 seconds left. Pitchers get 2 disengagements, which pickoff attempts or step-offs per batter. Violations would be considered a balk.
So I have 3 major issues with the pitch clock. None of them really have anything to do with the speed of the pitch clock, although I will say this again. You're catering to an audience with the speed of the pitch clock that I don't think you're not drawing in people who are Twitch gaming and into drone racing and into UFC. They're not coming around to baseball because it runs 2.5 hours instead of 3 hours. I just think it's everything that's wrong with the mindset of baseball is new fans. Baseball's dying. And what you should try to do is slow the death. You should not try to.
No, let me hop in here. Sorry, real quick. I want to say, I want to use a personal experience to that point. It's like I am with golf, at least right now. I always say 18 holes is too much for me. I'd love 12, maybe 30. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to draw me in. I'm what you're saying, the UFC guy who loves UFC. Golf's not going to draw me in anytime soon. They're just not, because 18 holes is too much for me. I get bored.
Right.
And that's kind of the equivalent. And I agree with you.
And so now we've gotten to a situation where we're so focused on these new fans. That's not, to me, that's not how you get new. You should be literally growing new fans. You should be letting old fans create your new fans. But my issues with the pitch clock, and everybody's like, it's great, it's faster, it speeds the game up. You won't notice. So I read this article, and I'm going to read you the quote from Theo Epstein, which I saved in my thing. Okay, so he says, it's only natural that when there are loopholes, players will take advantage. That's a more natural thing to do rather than adjust. This is speaking about minor leaguers finding loopholes within the thing. What we learned is that enforcement is really, really important. Umpires have to be on board. Enforcement has to be crystal clear, reliable, and unflinching. So I have 2 issues. One, if you're out there watching what's going on in these spring training games and you are saying, come the regular season, a game is not going to be called because of the pitch clock in the 9th inning. Well, first of all, Theo Epstein's saying, yes, it is. Okay? So prepare for that. But also, here's the other thing. If it isn't, we get into that weird, shitty situation that we talked about with the Super Bowl where we're going, we now have a rule and we are going to decide when we are going to enforce it and when we are not going to enforce it. So we're already in a shitty position where we either have potentially games being ended on fucking pitch clock things or them picking and choosing when to enforce the rule, which Theo Epstein said they did in the minor leagues. Okay? Yeah. 2, The disengagement from the mound thing is fucking stupid. So now you can have a guy get holding runners becomes you have two chances and then a balk or essentially a free stolen base. Like, did we really fucking need this? I've said this before and I'll say it again. Even more so than Philadelphia sports fans. My least favorite fan in all of sports is people who boo somebody throwing over. It's just part of the game.
Sure.
Why couldn't we introduce the pitch clock? First of all, why couldn't we introduce the shift and bigger bases and fuck the pitch clock for another year and just see how we happen with that? But why did we have to introduce the pitch clock and the holding runners on thing simultaneously? Seems to me like we're trying to do too fucking much. Now, my other issue with it, if you look, and there's an article I responded to somebody in our Reddit with it. Max Scherzer said he's been working the whole offseason on how to fuck with hitters because of the pitch clock. Essentially, and this is exactly what I would do if I was a pitcher today. Every batter, first pitch, I would come set and I would fucking hold it until a half second before that clock went off and I pitched it. And if that batter calls a timeout in that, I would be ready to go the second it starts. And if that batter steps out, fuck you. I own you now. I own you. The rest of this at bat, no matter what I do, you cannot step out.
Yeah.
We're now literally giving advantages to a pitcher in a game where the pitchers already have so many fucking advantages that people aren't watching because balls aren't getting put in play. So now you have a 2.5 hour game instead of a 3 hour game. But in the 2.5 hours, no one's going to fucking hit the ball. And you think that's going to draw more fans? We should be, the one thing that we should be focused on is let's talk about rules. Is there any chance for this to give a pitcher an advantage over a hitter? Oh, it will? Then fuck you. We're not doing it. Baseball has a ball in play problem. We fixed it with the shift. But then we counteract it with now a pitcher can get you to step out one time and fuck you. They own you. If you don't think the Max Scherzers and the Justin Verlanders and the Jacob deGroms and the fucking, Sandy Alcantara's, like all the great pitchers in the league, the great pitchers are going to use this to their advantage. And if I was a pitching coach, I would be teaching them how to use this to their advantage. And to me, that is a huge issue because the other problem with baseball these days is pitching is getting so fucking good. And if you've never played at a high level, you say dumb shit like just hit the ball the other way. But if you have played it at a high level, you know that when a guy's throwing 100 miles an hour and then he gets to hold the ball for 10 seconds. He gets to stay in his set for 10 seconds. And your eyes can't blink because if you blink, he's going to throw on 102. That it literally, the human brain cannot physically react to a 100-mile-an-hour ball. You're actually guessing every time. So now you can't blink and your eyes start to water because fucking this guy's playing games and you can't step out because you already stepped out once. It's ludicrously stupid. And we're all doing it to save a half hour. Meanwhile, as I tweeted from fucking Dirty Slides, football games are longer than baseball games with less action. Facts. Factual information. Less action, less gameplay in football, longer games. Factual. No one complaining about the length of football. Oh, baseball's too long. No one worldwide complaining about the length of fucking cricket, which goes on for days.
Well, I think no one complains about football. Obviously, people enjoy the actual game more.
Not only do people not complain about the length of football, they watch on Sundays 3 games in a row, back to back to back.
Yeah, I agree. Like the time for me is never an issue when it comes to football. And to be honest, you're right. With baseball, games can be long. A half hour really isn't that big of a difference.
And here's what else I read in this article. Again, this article in Esquire. And it's all in favor of the rules. But here's another thing. Local TV the local TV numbers when it comes to baseball are not down. Okay? What's down is people watching the World Series, people watching the playoffs. So baseball looks at the fact that people locally, fans of the Dodgers, are still watching as many Dodgers games as they did in the past. Fans of the Yankees are still watching as many Yankees games. But no one is watching the World Series, and your concern is because games are too long? How about the fact that teams like Andy's are not attempting to win the World Series? Baseball has two major problems when it comes to national audiences. One, most fucking teams aren't trying to win. Bullshit. If you're not trying to win, get the fuck out. Get fucked. Okay? Two, baseball refuses to market its players. Refuses to market its players. You're not allowed to tweet about them. You're not allowed to put out video up about them. You're not allowed to whatever. They do zero marketing of players. They hide behind, well, fucking Ohtani can't speak fucking English. Who gives a shit? Put a commercial out where he doesn't fucking talk at all. No one even knows what Mike Trout sounds like. No one. Baseball refuses to market its players. My nephew is wearing a sweatshirt yesterday with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson doing the gritty on it. Neither of them play for the Giants. He would know a fucking baseball player on another team if you fucking had to quiz him. They refuse to market their players. So now, unlike basketball, where some guy's a fan of Kyrie or a fan of LeBron or a fan of Devin Booker and therefore a fan of that team, you only watch your local fucking market because they refuse to market their players. And therefore, when the game is on the national level in the playoffs, if you're a Reds fan, you go, I don't give a fuck. The Reds have been out of it since fucking April. Why am I going to watch this? There's no parity. There's no salary floor. There's no salary ceiling. You're not marketing your players. You refuse to let people put up clips on the internet. And then you go, no one cares about the World Series. Oh, well, it's because it's too long. Kill yourself. We need a pitch clock. How about you need to do any of these fucking things?
So I was thinking when you were going on that rant, I think it's a legitimate question. Kind of where baseball's headed with it dying and the emergence of all the other sports. I'm going to say 50 years. 50 years from now. So that's like a good set time, right? Half a century. We will most likely be gone from this earth. 50 years from now, what is a more popular sport in America? Baseball or soccer?
Soccer.
You didn't even hesitate.
Yeah.
You think the money, the TV deals, all those things we see now is going to shift into soccer?
Because with streaming, with being able to, like, we're already seeing a shift where young American kids are watching English Premier League soccer.
Yeah.
And young American kids are not watching baseball.
Correct. No, I agree. That's why I posed that.
And soccer promotes their stars.
Yeah.
They promote the shit out of their stars. Worldwide. Now, each league is different, but you see it when, even in the MLS, when that fucking guy comes over from Europe and they're like, he's at the shitty part of his career where he has to come and play Major League Soccer. They boner out over it.
Yeah.
Every time.
They
Major
do.
League Baseball refuses. Like it's going to cost them some sort of money to promote their fucking stars. Refuses. Again, I don't care about 20 seconds, 15 seconds. Okay? You think the problem is you think it solved something and it didn't. And what you did is you put something in that solved nothing in terms of your issue, and it pisses off guys who fucking live and die with this sport. I'm annoyed. And I don't give a fuck about the 20 seconds. But this, you can step out once, is ludicrous. You can throw over twice, is ludicrous. Guys starting on second base in the 10th inning is ludicrous. If I see a Mets game end on a guy accidentally stepping out because a fucking gnat flies in his eye and he's already stepped out once, I will take a fucking flamethrower to the Major League Baseball offices.
Was that in New York?
Yeah.
It is crazy that they're not addressing the simple
And
issue.
all the things. Joe Rogan is sitting in a fucking room with some other dipshit, and he talks for 4 hours multiple times a week. He's the biggest fucking thing in fucking podcasting. Baseball's too long. They can't do 2.5 hours. Marvel Endgame, 3 hours. Football, 3 hours. Joe Rogan, 4 hours. All the things. All the fucking top things. All the things people are fucking consuming.
Well,
Baseball's too long.
I would argue those people are just finding those things more interesting.
I mean, but like, listen to what we're saying.
No, I know. I just, it's like, as far as trying to make baseball more interesting, like that's a whole discussion. I just think what's happened, like you said.
Do you remember when we used to do an hour podcast?
Yeah.
Remember when the show used to be an hour?
Yeah, I wanted.
Remember how quickly we were like, people want longer
Sure.
episodes.
You know the problem is
The kids today, they don't have the attention span.
well
It's all the ADD and the Adderall. We need baseball should be 3 innings. Bam, in and out.
well,
Get a starter, a setup man, and a closer. And get fucked.
But we do live in an interesting age, right? There is some sort of like a dichotomy going on. You do have, like, especially with social media, you have the quick videos that people
Remember
love.
that? Remember that too? YouTube. If your YouTube video is 5 minutes long, you should kill yourself. And now they're like, your YouTube video should be somewhere between 30 minutes and 3.5 hours.
No, but that's what I was going to say. YouTube is obviously pushing the YouTube Shorts, which can only be 60 seconds or less. So on one hand, YouTube is like pushing the shorts. On the other hand, they're pushing 4-hour podcasts.
To compete with TikTok, where now you can upload a 10-minute fucking video.
Sure. So I think we do live in an interesting age where people want short form and they also want long form. But the problem with baseball is that, like you said, the dads aren't taking their kids. So you've lost a generation.
You've also lost just an appreciation for what is going on in the game.
So this is years in the making, right? This isn't just baseball suddenly lost fans. This is from Bud Selig to Rob Manfred, just all these fuck ups. And you have Bud Selig is in the Hall of Fame. I mean,
We need to own our digital content. If you want to see Major League Baseball, you got to go to MLB.TV, log in with your name so we can put you on a mailing list, send you letters in the mail. Meanwhile, the NBA is like, we have what is called.
Is that a vacuum at your place?
That's somebody driving down the street.
I'm like losing my mind on lack of sleep. I keep looking over there. I'm like, what's going on here?
I have the window open because it's finally a nice day here in LA. But the Major League Baseball.
Wait, hold on a second. I thought it was a vacuum and it's somebody driving down the street.
Well, it's like a garbage truck.
Okay, that's where my head's at right now. Anyway, continue.
Major League Baseball, stupidly, like trying to control people sharing their shit. Meanwhile, there's something called NBA Twitter, where like the whole world participates in fucking videos and memes and the trade deadline. Think about all the memes that you can think of, just off the top of your head. Alonzo Mourning gif, Kevin Durant, you're the real MVP, crying Michael Jordan. I can't think of a single baseball meme.
Wow,
because
that's a good
MLB
point.
has banned you from showing shit. You're getting your YouTube channel taken down if you put sad Clayton Kershaw up.
Yeah, they don't really have any memes. All the other sports do. That's pretty crazy if you think about it. Baseball doesn't have anything going for it. What about our own experiences? And we talked about this. What were our opening first ceremonial pitch experiences like at the MLB stadiums versus the minor league stadiums?
Yeah.
It's night and day. I mean, remember that chick in the Mets? They almost didn't let you throw the pitch before the pitch happened because she thought, I don't know, you guys are comics. Are you guys up to something?
Remember that? I had a bra on under my shirt. I was going to do the fucking Brandy Chastain.
Are you guys up to something?
She was like, you better not take off your shoe.
She's like, you better not. And y'all ban you guys from Citi Field forever.
Now, to be fair, that was the Wilpon era still.
Yeah, but you know my point.
Yeah.
Then you go down to Amarillo, Texas for a Saudis game, and they're like,
you want to murder the mascot?
Yeah.
You guys want to call the game as Bill Walton? I was like, yeah, I do.
Yeah. Andy, do you want to take a 90-mile fastball? It's right to your face wearing a stupid big-ass cowboy hat. Yeah, okay. We can make that happen.
It's just I can't believe and the absolute cuckery of the MLB fan that allows it, and they take it and they argue for it. I love nets. Nothing makes me boner for baseball like sitting behind a net and watching a guy pitch on a clock.
Well, to your point, look at the other sports super fans. Then look at baseball. Their super fan is a guy in his 40s going out with a baseball glove collecting balls like Zach Campbell. Like, that's your baseball fan.
But I did it a couple episodes ago, and we're not going to repeat ourselves. The problem with baseball, they don't make you want to go to a bunch of games a year. They don't. Now there's a net. But I mean, the greatest memories of my childhood were getting to games early, going to batting practice, and just leaning over the railing and getting players to sign my fucking ball and to sign my card, and to, Kevin McReynolds gave me his batting glove and whatever. You can't throw a batting glove over a 40-foot net to a kid.
Yeah, I know.
Major League Baseball, the problem is just Major League Baseball is trying to solve issues 111, 340, and 916 on the list of problems with baseball. And they're ignoring the first 200.
I'm going to show you, dude. This is baseball. This is a microcosm of baseball's problem. You're going to crack up when you see this right now. I'm about to share something on the screen. I've seen billboards and advertisements for this all over Cincinnati. And to think like this is how you're trying to promote the Reds. I'm on the Revs website right now. Take a look at this. Featuring Yankees series.
Yeah.
That is the first thing. If you click on Cincinnati Reds tickets, the first thing, and Joe, they have this on billboards in Cincinnati. Your catch to get me, yes, play on words on purpose. Your catch to get me to go to the game is to watch the Reds lose 8-2 to the Yankees. That's how you're trying to get me to go down to the ballpark, is that they're playing the Yankees this year. Oh, but wait, there's more. The Zach Brown band's going to be there.
Yeah. Post-game benefit concert.
This is the Reds pitch.
Can you imagine the audacity of Major League Baseball to say, we have shortened the game, but we'd also like you to come and stay longer for another event that happens immediately after.
Or stick around for Friday's post-game fireworks.
Yeah.
45 minutes of fireworks.
Can't do it. Sorry. Hard. I have a hard 2.5 hour out. After I drive 90 minutes across LA in traffic, and then another 90 minutes to get out of the parking lot, and then another 90 minutes back, I need my baseball experience to go as fast as possible. I am planning for 7 hours of travel to go to this baseball game, and I'm planning on spending $1,000 on tickets, 1 hot dog, and 3 beers. So now I've spent $1,000 in 7 hours of my day. I need it happening fast. Get it over with. Honestly, I don't know why Major League Baseball doesn't have its most marketable two players meet at center field, have an arm wrestling match, and get us the fuck out.
One more thing I'll add to this conversation. I think what's really hurt Major League Baseball, and I don't know how they could have changed this, to be fair. I just think football and basketball, to most people, and I'm one of them, not everybody, can be just as enjoyable watching on TV. You know what I'm saying? We've entered the age of the TV watching experience and sitting in your house in the comfort of your man cave or entertainment center, whatever it is. And I can really enjoy a football or basketball game from home. It's tough for a lot of people to do in baseball. And now that these TV deals are worth so many billions of dollars, I think
But do you know why it's hard for people to enjoy it? Because I thoroughly enjoy baseball at home. It's because no one knows what the fuck is happening in the game. Because, one, they have abandoned growing the fan base from the ground up. So kids are not learning about the game. You want to learn about a baseball game? Keep score. Go to a baseball game with your dad. Learn to keep score. You will learn more about baseball in that process and then keeping score than you could possibly learn from reading every book on baseball. Keep score. You know what makes it harder to keep score? A pitch clock. Good luck. Hope you don't have to use your fucking eraser.
Yeah. I know, man.
They don't cultivate fans. They just want to. They're worried about. This is why they don't like us. Focus on why they do like you.
Yeah.
All the fucking sports in the world. It's the fucking Daytona 500. It draws hundreds of thousands of people there. And they sit there for how long? How long does it take them to drive 500 miles?
But again, I think it's, that sport.
They're going in circles.
People are there for the experience. And baseball doesn't seem to be offering the tailgate experience that you're getting at some of these other sports.
Well, doesn't that just revert back to everything I've been fucking saying? Make going to the game great again.
For sure. 100%.
And then people will want to go home and watch the games to bridge till the next time they're going to the game.
So
if you went to 10 baseball games a year, I promise you're watching the 15 games in between.
Yeah. I do not plan on going to any Reds games this year.
Because your team is not trying to compete for a fucking championship.
And also the experience. Now, I mentioned it last year, the independent team in Northern Kentucky, the Florence Yalls, I will go to games. I went to 2 games last year. I enjoyed it. They have a whole experience there for the families. And obviously it's different. It's independent baseball. But you know what? It's still baseball. I'm still watching a baseball game, but also I'm not getting bent over to buy a hot dog. Right? Oh, I got nephews or nieces. Hey, guess what, guys? We can take a break and go out in the kids zone. You know what I'm saying? Like there are things that some teams do, and I'll give Reds credit. They actually have good kids areas at their ballpark, but I'm not paying $20 to go to a playground. It's nice if you have that for a family, but if my team stinks, I don't really care.
Yeah, but baseball's not instituting rules to make your team care about winning.
No.
They should be. They're not. Literally no one complaining. Literally no, even the people that are like, oh, this pitch clock's good. They're actually not complaining. Everybody say, we need more action. We need more action. We need more action. They haven't even instituted a rule that unless you're saying half an inch, 3.5 inches or whatever, close to the plate, unless your argument is that's more action. Now, the shift, that's going to give you more action. Okay? But it only helps if the balls get put in play, which the pitch clock, I would argue, is going to do the opposite. No one is complaining about the length. They're complaining about the lack of action, and baseball is doing nothing to combat that, except for the shift, which thank God. The pitch clock is a great theory, but you've instituted it in the worst fucking way possible.
Well, I think we've said all we could on that.
I'm over here. The entire country hates baseball. I'm over here jacking off to the thought of baseball season starting. And what have they done? Hey, buddy, we know you're the only guy who cares. Let us tell you why we've made it worse for you.
Well, Praino, after that long discussion, you need to have a cold Miller Lite.
I really fucking do.
Because
I'm out of matcha.
Here's the thing. Miller Lite, you think the way sports should be. Like an old school, I don't even want to say old school, but just a baseball game. You're basking in a hot spring or summer day. You have a nice cold Miller Lite. You're taking in the game. You're taking in the environment.
A pitch happens. I take a swig of my Miller Lite. I write it down in my scorebook. Maybe I have another swig of my Miller Lite. And then the next pitch. I don't want to be rushed drinking a Miller Lite. I don't want to be rushed watching a baseball game. I want to casually enjoy both. Casually and responsibly enjoy both.
Yeah. It's no games, no gimmicks, how baseball should be. Just a great beer for people who like beer. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/dirty sports to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Okay, I want to get to the NFL Players Association report card.
Great.
Because I found this fascinating. I didn't know this was happening, but just perusing through the teams, it's interesting because you could argue the grades don't really matter or there is no correlation between the report card score / how the team does, which I agree. There's not exactly always a correlation. But what I found so amusing, and I'm going to use the word amusing because I'm not surprised by cheap billionaires. You become a billionaire because you're cheap. Just how some of these teams would skimp on such minor things for their employees, because that's what it is at the end of the day. You're just skimping on your employees. So for those who are not familiar with the situation, the NFL Players Association, for the first time ever, did team report cards on all 32 teams. And it was anonymous. They asked 1,300 players across the 32 teams to rate, just like you would in school, on A to F scale. And you had 8 different categories. You had treatment of families, nutrition, weight room, strength staff, training room, training staff, and locker room. And what was interesting to me was that, again, not the best teams always scored the highest, and the worst teams didn't. Like, there wasn't exactly a correlation between how the team performed on the report cards versus how they performed in the field. So the highest rated teams, as far as what the survey said, again, these are their working conditions. Number 1 was Vikings. Number 2 was Dolphins. Number 3 was Raiders. 4 was Texans. 5 was Cowboys. So of those 5 teams, you have what? How many combined playoff wins this year? 1? You have 1. And your bottom 5 teams, starting with the very last, no surprise here, the Commanders with the worst working conditions of any NFL team. Second to last, the Cardinals, then the Chargers, then the Chiefs, then the Jags and Bengals. But when I read some of these again, I was just laughing, because these owners are just such cheap asses.
I mean, I think that there's some things where you got to be like, okay, a new stadium's going to have a bigger locker room. A new stadium's going to have a bigger training facility or whatever. But there's also, when you talk about roommates on the road or the quality of the food, like you can have a shitty kitchen and good food. Like there's the best restaurants in America are not the fanciest fucking kitchens. That's for sure.
But also when I see things like this, the Jacksonville Jaguars dealt with a rodent problem for 3 to 4 weeks during the season per the survey. Players reported that there was, in quotes, a rat infestation in the locker room and laundry hampers. This earned the team a D- on the locker room section. You can't have that, Joe. Like, that's just, what are we doing here? You have a rat problem, but I have to bring up the hometown Bengals, the Cincinnati Bengals, because obviously this hits close to home for me. Everything has changed because of Joe Burrow and the new era. But you know what hasn't changed? The ownership. The report on the Bengals is pure comedy. So the Bengals rated high. It seems the players like their coaches. They like the training staff, all that. But these things are hysterical. The Bengals are one of 3 teams that do not provide dinner to their players. Guys, what are we talking about here? Dinner to your players? No, sorry. They are also one of 2 teams that do not provide vitamins, and they are the only team that does not provide supplements to their players. But wait, there's more. Additionally, players felt that they have some of the smallest hot cold tubs in the league. They have issues with the showers and toilets not consistently working. And they are the only team in the NFL that does not have outlets in their lockers to charge devices.
Wow.
Was the movie Major League inspired by the Brown family?
Yeah.
What I just read to you guys is the premise for Major League. Dude, you're an NFL team and you're Joe Burrow. Okay, let's just use him because he's the best player on the team, right? You're Joe Burrow. You just led the Bengals to their 2nd straight AFC North championship. You're at home. And then you go into shower and you turn it on and you're like, shit, cold water.
I just love the idea of Zach Taylor being naked in the locker room when the owner comes out. It's like, no fucking towels.
The Bengals
I would have loved to told you I was naked with a text message, but I ain't got no outlets in my locker.
Ed Orgeron apparently is the Bengals head coach.
No, that's the manager for Major League.
I know. Joe, they're the only team that doesn't. Jamar Chase can't charge his iPhone in between practices. And you know what's funny to me, Joe, is I couldn't resist. I went to Bengals Reddit, right? Because we all know the crazies of the crazies for each teams are on Reddit. Most people get it, but Joe, there's like a fair amount of people like defending this in a weird. I'm like, what are you defending? Or the people who are like, oh, grown men bitching, millionaires complaining. Oh, I'm a construction worker.
It does, but
look at what I do. What?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with it?
Also, so sorry that you've done nothing with your fucking life and that you've got to compare. Like, this is not the way to compare. It's the equivalent of if you're a construction worker and you're like, I work 20 hours a day and I work on a job site. Okay, what if your job site didn't provide safety helmets?
Yeah.
It's not about what they do compared to what you do. It's what they do compared to what other teams do. No, like, is anybody sitting around going like, I am not going to complain about my shitty job when I used to work at this other company and they gave me better benefits and they gave me whatever. It's like the reason that they have this report card is, and it's smart for the NFLPA to do this, which is for the people who have been on other teams and go around saying, hey, I used to play for the Cowboys and it was dope, and now I play for the Bengals and it's shit, is making the guys who just come into the league, because the majority of guys come into the league, they don't know any better and they're not millionaires and they get paid whatever the league minimum for the first couple years, for them to know, oh, it's better other places. There are Bengals fans that just found out every other team gives them dinner.
No, that's a great point. It's a great point. I mean, the idea that you can't accommodate, like we're saying, just the basic of base needs. Having chargers for their electronic devices, providing dinner. I mean, when I looked further into this, well, first of all, they're the only team that doesn't give supplements.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. We all know the infamous video, or at least to remind everybody, of TJ Houshmandzadeh saying that Bengals players, when he entered the league, had to share jock straps. This is like the 2023 version of that, not having an iPhone charger. It really is. 20 years later, you really haven't changed. Now, I'd argue to counter all this, we see it because the Bengals are 27th, the Chiefs are 29th. Those two teams played in the AFC Championship. I'd argue somebody saying as a free agent, oh, God, the facilities are terrible, but I'd love to play with Burrow. I'd love to play with Pat Mahomes. You know, I'd argue.
I don't know. I don't necessarily know that that's true.
Really? You don't think so?
I think that the majority of guys in the NFL would probably say, why would I go play with Burrow when I can go play with X whose shit is way nicer? You got to remember, too, like when we talk about, oh, but the Chiefs played, so both of them have elite quarterbacks. That's it, right? Like that's why they're there.
Yeah.
That's precisely why they're there. But also, like when it comes to staying competitive or getting competitive without you drafted an elite quarterback, you've got to be able to lure free agents. And no one wants to go fucking play where it's shitty.
Yeah. But you don't think a player might want to go to a team that has a great cast to win that ring?
Do I think a receiver might want to go play with Burrow? Do I think whatever? Yeah. Do I think a left tackle gives a fuck? Like, oh, I want to go play with Joe Burrow. He's like, my job is to run headlong into another man at the tune of a 25-hour car accident 40 times a game. I want a nice fucking cold tub.
True. Yeah, no, you have a point. But I do find it interesting that the Chiefs are so low.
Because they have an old stadium.
And
the
they
Bengals
also
have an old stadium.
Yeah.
Who are the top teams? The Raiders,
it goes Vikings, Dolphins,
the Raiders,
Raiders,
the Dolphins,
Texans,
the Cowboys.
Packers are 6th. Your Giants are 8th. Bills are 9th, Joe. I mean, Bills have an old stadium.
Listen, my point is that you have to work. Like, if you're going to, by like the state of the art technology, be in a shittier position to start, maybe feed your fucking team dinner. Maybe give them supplements. Yeah. Maybe add outlets to the fucking thing. Like, you're not going to be able to increase the size of Arrowhead's locker room. You can't. Okay? You can't do it. You can build a new stadium, but people like Arrowhead. The fans certainly do. The players like playing there. There's a home field advantage, all that. You can't make the locker room bigger. But you can give them better food.
Sure.
I guarantee you there's a guy in Kansas City who cook you some fucking barbecue.
Yeah. And you can do little things. Like the Chiefs are one of the few teams that force rookies to have roommates on the road. Not many teams do that anymore at all. And they're saying, look, they're grown-ass men. You're nickel and diming by forcing a rookie to have a roommate in a hotel room. And these aren't small men. You know, I don't know what the Chiefs want, 2 6'8" linemen sharing a bed. I'm just picturing that guy being like, that's a State Farm commercial. Nah, I got Andy Reid again. God, he's got the gas.
I just picture Baker Mayfield showing up with a fucking work belt trying to add charging stations to locker rooms. I got a call. You guys need iPhone chargers. That's a little electrical work.
Oh, man. It really does, though. It just goes to show when they show these owners, and obviously the NFL owners, I feel like they show more than anyone. When they show these owners in their luxury boxes, you just think, you're just a dick, man. Get the guys chargers. Get the guys supplements. Get a room where their wife or girlfriend doesn't have to be breastfeeding in the restroom of the public stadium. That was another thing, the Bengals. Players reported that wives had sat on the public restroom floor to nurse their babies.
I mean, that's something out of fucking Last of Us. It's a post-apocalyptic hellscape.
Can you imagine? You're Jamar Chase's baby mama, middle of like a Chiefs game, and you got your kid with you, and you're stuck between like Randy Ruther and a guy with tiger face paint nursing your baby.
You're like, can you hold? Hey, Bangalorean, can you hold my baby while I take my tit out?
Oh my God. Hey man, we got the bubble. We got the bubble. Things are changing. No, they're not. They're not changing. Literally, you're giving. You know what the Bengals are? Remember when I was so cheap, and I love this when I was so cheap, just a few months ago when I refused to update my iPhone 6S.
Yeah.
And I'd take a portable charger with me. That's literally what the Bengals are doing. They're giving portable chargers to their guys. It shouldn't make them feel too good about this whole Burrow contract situation.
Burrow's like, I know about our cap situation. I also know if I take a little bit less money that maybe we can get chargers in our lockers. I'd like to keep my weapons. I also would like to have a place for my receiver's wife to nurse her baby.
It's unbelievable. I mean, the Jags had a rat infestation, and they're just like, no, it's cool. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has long hair. Were there rats living in Trevor? Like, was there a rat living in Trevor Lawrence's hair? But you know what's crazy on that list too? The Rams and the Chargers had really shitty grades, like D's in a lot of the stadium stuff.
Wow.
Which I don't really fully understand that. Like how is that possible?
Well, listen, I've been to SoFi, and the footprint is really cool. And the game, I talked about this when I went. The game experience, watching the game was really cool. Everything outside of that was a nightmare. Remember that? You literally you cannot just like say I'm in one end zone and I'm going to walk around the stadium back to my seat. You can't.
No, I know
blocked
that. But
off. Everything is fucking shitty food.
But Joe, the Chargers and Rams, I just looked. The locker room grade is a D and D minus for the two teams.
Yeah.
Did you have a brand new stadium? What did you put in the locker room for those guys? You just built a $6 million stadium and gave them a shit locker room? I do think this is great that they're doing this.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic.
Especially if you're a free agent and you're reading this. You're like, I don't want to go to this team. Or, hey, man, the Raiders got top-notch facility. I could go to Vegas. I don't know. The whole thing is just, it's one of those things where I am surprised at certain teams, but then at the end of the day, I don't think I should be, because you're like, it's the NFL, man. Like the Packers overall scored great. Does that surprise you?
Kind of, but not really. You got to remember the Packers have fucking owned by the fans. So there's a board. They're probably it's not one dipshit going like, we're not doing it. It's not the fucking Brown family.
Oh man. I'm gonna ask you a question and then we'll move on.
Okay.
The XFL is currently on.
Yes.
I think we did this before,
Okay.
but I'm gonna do it again. Over under the XFL lasting 2.5 seasons.
I don't remember what I answered last time.
I'm saying under.
I didn't know The Rock was involved. I have no idea how their ratings are going. You know me, I'll never watch a fucking game.
Me either.
I'm going to say over, but I'm not going to go over 4.5.
I said 2.5.
I know. I'm not going to go over 4.5, but I am going to go over 2.5.
Okay. I'm saying under. I'm saying it lasts 2 seasons. Then it's done. You want to get to some dirt balls?
Is there anybody in the XFL? Do you know anything about it? Is there anybody in the XFL who, like, are you like, oh, this guy's in the XFL now?
No, I haven't paid any attention to it.
Okay.
To be honest. Like, I've paid no attention to it. You want to get us some dirt ball calls?
Sure.
All right, guys, give us a ring. Hotline is 310-359-8365. We'll start with the Philly fan, Joe.
Oh, God. Why are you
No,
doing this?
no, he's reasonable.
Oh, okay.
He's reasonable. But he is calling to defend. That look says it all. He's reasonable on his call, but I'm saying his tone is reasonable.
And he's calling to defend what? Throwing batteries at players?
Philly fans related to the Jalen Brown situation about
Oh, okay.
the fans saying they wanted him to tear his ACL.
It's just a bad egg. You can't judge everybody by one bad egg.
All right, well, let's see what he has to say.
Andy is Justin from South Philly, been a DirtBall for a long time, and was just listening to Monday's episode, listening to the discourse about Jalen Brown, hearing from Philly fans to tear an ACL. So as a Philly fan, I'm calling to defend the fans just a little bit, as we probably are the worst as a collective. You know, I don't do stuff like that. I would say that is not as uncommon as it sounds for fans to say those types of comments. It's just he made it public, and Philly has this narrative where it's easy to bring this up and it's a rivalry game and all these types of things. I just wanted to point out that all hardcore fan bases will react to something like that. All right, guys. Thank you for listening, and stay dirty.
So I'll go first real quick. I don't know if I agree that you're saying that's more common than we think, saying I want you to tear your ACL. Now, I don't know if that's based on where I'm sitting. I don't know if that's a certain area of a stadium or arena or ballpark. I don't know. But like, you suck, fuck you, those sort of things you hear. Like, I don't like, to me, that's way where you're wishing an injury on somebody.
But also,
at the
end he said, what is he reacting to? What was the He was like, oh, I don't think it's people reacting to what? Jalen Brown walking into a stadium? Just Jalen Brown being there? What is a Philly fan telling a guy to tear his ACL? He's reacting to him being alive, playing Philly. I'll just tell you this. I have seen, again, first of all, my hatred of Philly is because what I've seen in person at Philadelphia sporting events. I had never seen anything like that in my life. I've been to numerous games in Philly now, at the Vet, at the Link, at Citizens Bank Ballpark. To me, I've never seen a worse fan base. Personal experience, okay? I've never been to a Raiders game, okay? Personal experience. But also, I am friends
Yeah.
with a lot of people. I'm Mr. Sports Guy.
Who
okay?
I know, your Philly friends.
Yeah, but I'm saying I'm Mr. Sports Guy. Like
Yeah.
when people find out, like when comedian friends or friends of mine, they're on my social media. There's Mets in my bio. I'm always at games. People all the time will be like, "Oh, Joe, you love fucking sports. You love fucking sports." Like I know fans of, like if you name a team, I can tell you a fan of that team. Okay. I have never sat in a room, not at a game, watching a game on TV. I've never been with the fan base of another team, ever. Any other team in any sport, except Philly fans who have screamed at the TV hoping for injury. Break his fucking leg. I've never seen that before, except for Philly fans. I appreciate your call, and I appreciate that you say I'm not one of those guys, but this is your teamcheats.com. You hear it all the time. You hear other fans saying this. Cool. You might not be the guy. The one thing I'll say about Philly, and I've always said about Philly, is when you go to sporting events, there's always going to be one fucking guy who takes shit too far.
Sure.
I would say in Philly, there's always going to be one guy who fucking doesn't. Oh, you don't? Congratulations. You're in the minority. It's like we talk about with fucking, like with cops, like I said before. It's like suddenly we have dash cams and cell phone cams and whatever, and people are like, man, cops are beating people up. They always did. We just have it on video now. Oh, suddenly there's a million videos of Eagles fans being complete pieces of shit. No, they always haven't. I saw a video the other day from the Super Bowl where I don't even know if it was a Chiefs fan, but they were holding up a picture of that dude's mugshot, the guy from the Eagles who, like, in the run-up to the game was fucking charged with whatever, some horrible fucking crime.
Well, it was the guy who didn't start. It was like child rape or something crazy.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Eagles fans were fucking assaulting the dude who had this guy's. Can you imagine being such a piece of trash that you're defending the child rape guy?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, man. I don't know. Like, again, I just don't hear that when you go. We both of us have always been to a lot of sports events. Look, I mean, I don't know what the equivalent of this would be in a football stadium, but we've gone to multiple games in the bleachers at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
Like you look, the bleachers in Dodger Stadium for a few years was so rough. They banned beer, guys, because somebody got stabbed. My point is, like, we've been to games there, and guys will get a little wild in the bleachers at Dodger Stadium, but they're not yelling for a guy to break his leg. I don't know. It's just, again, they're talking shit. Hey, John Jay. They're doing whatever they're doing.
Where's the clip? Like, we have the clip of Joey Bosa getting fucking harassed outside. We have what about the report of what's his name? The dude who was on the Sixers, who was from DC. I forget who it was, but there was a dude on the Sixers. Getting fucking shit thrown at him because he was wearing a Redskins jersey to a Redskins-Eagles game. He's on the Sixers.
Yeah. All right. Here's a scenario call for me.
What's up, guys? It's TK from Minnesota, just calling in. And Ruther, I heard you talking about how you would handle situations in the future and just replaying those in your head. And scenario, your daughter's 17 years old, and you catch her some weed, stealing some Miller Lights out of the fridge. She's going and boozing on the weekends. But she's got 4.0, 3.8 GPA, gets all of her shit done, isn't a problem, but you catch her doing this. What are you doing? How do you handle it? You telling mom? Maybe she doesn't know. I don't know. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Also, I think this Air movie or whatever, this new like Nike shit that's coming out, I literally think it's a disguised MJ propaganda film. Another one. Right around the time MJ or LeBron breaks the all-time scoring record, we see this mysterious movie about MJ getting signed to fucking Nike. Can you believe it? It's bullshit. Anyways, condoms are for that fucking film, honestly.
So that film is basically the history of Nike, like how it started with Phil Knight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It sounds like it's the Nike was around for a bit before.
Oh
Jordan.
No! Yeah, I know. Oh, so the it says Sonny
It's
Vaccaro.
about the signing of Jordan.
Nike pursue basketball rookie Michael Jordan, creating a partnership that revolutionizes the world of sports
and it did.
Culture.
The trailer dropped. The second fucking.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that is crazy that they would do that.
And I said, I actually saw a video of this, of a guy talking about this. He was actually a Jordan slurper. He was saying, Michael, so petty, so competitive. Yes, he's doing these things on purpose. And I was like, petty and competitive in these scenarios are synonyms for insecure.
Yeah, 100%.
He's insecure when LeBron passed him. The last dance dropped. He was insecure when LeBron passed Kareem. So the fucking trail. I'm sure part of it was like, okay, but this is when I want it to fucking happen.
100% on that. 100%. You think that they randomly drop a trailer, a pro Michael Jordan trailer, right when LeBron passes Kareem? That's not a coincidence. These are calculated moves. Jordan is a very calculated
what's amazing
guy.
is the propaganda machine. Like people buy into it so hard. So Nick Hoff, comedian,
for sure.
Whatever. Apparently, big Jordan guy. I posted something on fucking Twitter, and he replied, and we went back and forth. And he was talking about The Last Dance, and I was like, "Oh, the Michael Jordan produced propaganda film." And he was like, "Michael Jordan didn't have anything to do with that." I go, "Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did." Check this out. He's like, no, he didn't fucking, they probably just used him for to get footage that they couldn't get. I go, no, it's actually, who's on fucking, on record. Who's the dude who did Civil War and the baseball, all the documentaries?
It's Ken Burns.
Ken Burns is on record as saying a documentary cannot be produced by its subject.
Yeah.
He goes, that alone makes this not a documentary about Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. It is just
100%.
not a documentary.
Yeah, no, 100%. So to your question, which is a very interesting question.
Yeah, we got to get to this. This is the main thing, Andy.
So if my daughter,
4.0 student,
she's 17.
She's 17.
I catch her smoking weed. I catch her taking some beer.
Well, first of all, cannabis. Okay, let's not fall into the 1950s reefer madness trashing of weed. Right? Cannabis is the thing now, and also he did say Miller Lite.
He did.
Cannabis and Miller Lite.
Well, here's the thing.
Keep things proper here.
Here's the thing.
Let's end the long-standing propaganda campaign against cannabis and against alcohol.
I would, first of all, I don't care if she's got a 4.0 or 2.0. That really doesn't matter for me in this situation.
Okay.
obviously I have lived a life, we can say. I have been pretty wild. I have my moments. There's a reason I don't drink anymore. Like, I'm on record. There is 915 episodes of me talking about all my shit. There's all these other podcasts or radio or videos and social media, whatever. I'm not going to be like, oh, you can't do this or do like, that's just how could I? And also, my mom was so strict on that stuff, and I think it completely backfired on all 5 of her boys, for the record, on all this stuff. I would just talk to her, and it's about being smart, right? And I know we're playing a hypothetical here. I wouldn't be like, you're grounded, but like, hey, if you're going to do this, don't drink and drive. Don't get stoned and drive. You know, be smart. If you ever feel you're in a bad position, call me.
And if you do drive, make sure you have the auto drive on our Tesla on so it can drive you home. Because what are we talking about? This is 18 years from now. That car, she could pass out in the fucking driver's seat.
True.
And that car will take me home.
Yeah.
There's robots that are delivering food around my neighborhood.
No, 100%. And as far as telling mom, like, I don't think that would really matter. My thing is, like, I don't like to keep secrets. It's like, I'm pretty honest with my girlfriend and vice versa. Like, she knows all my shit. She's like, I don't hide shit from her. I really don't. And vice versa. And she's lived a life too. She's been an angel. So, like, I don't know. I mean, the whole parenting thing, it's funny to me because I think you learn as you go. But, like, I know from my background, my dad didn't enforce shit. It was just like, oh, your mother said it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, your mother said it. Like, he wasn't the enforcer. He wasn't the disciplinarian. But no, I wouldn't be like, you can't do this. I just think that's a stupid approach. It's trying to find a balance. Like, if my kid's getting stoned all the time and it's sucking at school, I'll be like, what are you doing? Like, you got to find a balance, right? I don't know. These are weird. This is like a weird.
And I think that's a good thing. And you could say to that kid, you know about balance. You took Miller Lights. They're great taste and less filling. You need to have, so you understand why balance is important.
A great plug right there. Yeah. And although what's interesting is, like, the thought of, like, a kid going, I don't even know if kids would do it. Like, would a kid go back and just, like, listen to an old podcast? I think more than not, they'll be like, my dad's embarrassing. I don't care what he said on episode 426 with an Asian guy who ran over a homeless guy in Venice Beach.
Well, that podcast will be long deleted at that point.
Shout out to Yoshi.
Yeah.
You want to hear an angry call?
Yeah. What are they angry about?
Spotify.
Okay.
Like, Kyle Aronofsky is so angry at this call. He hates Spotify.
Okay.
I don't think anyone's ever hated Spotify as much as he hates Spotify.
Joe and Andy, what is up, my fellas?
That's not Kyle Aronofsky.
He sounds so angry. Joe and Andy, what's up, my fellas? That was not the right call.
I want to hear the rest of that call now.
Do you want to hear? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, let's go. We got to. The rule on this show should be, if you accidentally play someone's call, if we haven't already played it, we got to listen. This guy, he wasn't going to get a shot, but now he does.
Yeah. This is one of those, I just mislabeled it.
Landon calling in from the greater Nashville area. Wanted to congratulate Andy, kind of late on the train here, but I'll hop on now. That's fucking awesome, man. So glad you're going to be a great dad. I'm sure we're going to get Andy Ruther dad updates as the show goes on here. That's really what my question is. Has this been codified yet? Do you guys have a little Andy dad bit you guys are going to wheel out I ask because I just found out that my wife is pregnant with our first child, and so I'm looking for all the advice I can get. Is this going to be a part of the show going forward? Yep, that's it. Condoms are for not us, clearly. Couple of dads. Stay dirty.
Okay, so obviously we just did a discussion, even though we were projecting into the future, a hypothetical. Updates, I mean, we'll see. The truth is, I'll be honest with you guys, and I talked to Joe about this. The truth is, I think I might do a spin-off of My Life Now podcast, where most of that would be covered there, right?
Yeah. But obviously, we're going to talk about your kid on the show. You've never been a guy that keeps things, whatever. Like we're already doing it.
Yeah.
So I suspect that's going to happen.
Yeah. No, for sure. And
now is the dad spinoff going to be called "Breaking the Ruther Curse"? Raising my child in a curseless environment. The Isla Ruther story.
Well, we have, so the spinoff, I've been really slacking on. Well, I have a lot of footage. So the spinoff will be very YouTube centric. A lot of footage that I've compiled over months. And it would just be about like what I'm going through now, what I've gone through the last few years. It would be very lighthearted, at least try to be.
Can I say something that I actually wanted to say? I was going to say to you separately, but now that we have it now that it's sort of come up, what you just said of going through the last years, I need to give you some props that I've never given you before because it never even occurred to me to do it. But now that so many other people are going the other way, I want to commend you on something, Andy. How long you been sober?
9 years in April.
See, I didn't even know that. Okay, I didn't know that. I just want to commend you on being sober and not making it your whole fucking existence. I am like sick and tired of sober people at this point.
Right?
We get it. You're fucking sober. Like, cool fucking story, bro.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. Well, dude, I drink, and I obviously love to have a Miller Lite promoted on this show. But, like, if I do jokes about my drinking, it's usually about, like, how it's bad. Or if I fucking talk about it, it's usually, like, taking the piss out of it. God damn it, if sober people aren't the most annoying people in the world.
I agree.
Cool. You're fucking sober. You feel great. I don't give a shit. Like, stop. And by the way, if it was so great, why are you trying to sell everybody to fucking do it with you? Talk about, like, a fucking... Usually somebody's like, ooh, this is my little thing. I'm not going to tell the whole world about it. You're just fucking dorks who really, really want other people to be dorks with you. Andy Ruther's like, be sober, don't be sober. I don't give a fuck. And I want to commend you on that.
Thanks, man.
God damn it. Are sober people annoying? And I feel like it's a trending thing that if you're sober, you need to fucking constantly tell everybody about it.
Well, I think
don't
especially
care.
I think especially in the comedy world.
Ugh.
Like, I know my
next special is gonna be Last Comic Drinking.
Yeah, well, I know when I went sober, right, cold turkey, the amount of comics that would come up to me after shows, like sober comics, and they'd be pitching me to their AA or whatever. And look, do whatever you got to do. I'm not here to knock that. That I didn't need that. Like, I'm lucky. I have willpower, and everyone has their own way they want to take it or their own path, so to speak. But I agree. Like, I think people, it's such a big deal. Here's something funny. My therapist, who you actually recommended me to, which is hilarious now that I think about it, I've been going to it for 4 years. I didn't tell him about my sobriety. That's how little of concern it is until like 2.5 years in. And he just laughed. He's like, wait, you don't drink? He's like, you've never mentioned that. He's like, well, why don't you drink? And I was like, oh, I had this brain injury. But that's to your point. It's just like, that's a thing for me. I don't think about it, but everyone, I don't want to say everyone, but so many people who are sober
are like, hi, I'm sober. My name's Mark. And you're like, oh, you could fucking slow play that one, Mark. I didn't need to know you were sober before I knew your name.
So I'd put the following people in the same category: the sober people, vegan/vegetarian and runners.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Where they're
Oh man, running. And you're like,
Yeah.
bro, I've done it. I'm not interested.
where they like really try to push that on you
Yeah.
or let you know
dude,
right away.
You know, but if you get in really good shape, you get a runner's high, and then you don't even think about it anymore. Cool. I'll never know about that feeling.
Maybe this next one is Kyle's call. I don't know. This one doesn't have a label on it. I try to label them, but we'll see. We'll see if this is it.
What's going on, folks? Calling back once again from beautiful Toms River, New Jersey, home of the 1998 Little League World Series champions. Non-sports related call, but you guys have discussed Apple Music versus Spotify before, and I'm an Apple Music guy, and I've always gotten shit. People try to share playlists, all this goofy nonsense. I don't listen to Joe Rogan anymore for years now. And I was hanging with my fucking goofball buddies, and they're, no, you got to listen to this one. This guy's a banana farmer from Panama, and then you got to listen to this one with this comedian. Oh, no, it's been 5 years since he lied about being in 9/11. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I have no podcast to listen to. None were out on Apple Music. This app's a fucking nightmare. Spotify is a disaster. You, download something, and then you try to remove the download. It doesn't remove. If you're listening to one podcast, and then you just barely tap the screen, it swipes and starts at the next one, then you go back and start that one at the next one, or at the beginning. Total shit show of an app. And the layout's terrible. If you're on Spotify and you have an iPhone, going back to old school.
Well, it just stopped. Huh.
What's going on?
It just stopped. I don't know what's going on here. He dropped the old school kill yourself at the end. I feel bad. I wish I could have played that.
I gotta say, I could not agree more with Kyle Aronofsky. I could not agree more. I'm an Apple Music guy. Okay. People send me shit on Spotify. Oh, you gotta check out this playlist. Spotify, get fucked. Okay. I don't listen to Rogan. I've listened to 2 episodes of Rogan in the last, I don't know how many years. Kelly Slater, who all of a sudden started talking about jiu-jitsu. They went on an hour-long jiu-jitsu rant. I'm out. And my girl, my number one, Miley Cyrus, I listened to her fucking thing. Was there ever, I think there was a Kanye thing. Didn't Kanye do it? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
And I listened to Kanye. That's it. 3. Okay. People send me playlists. If you send me a playlist in Spotify, I just want you to know that there's something called Song Shift. I take your playlist, I shift it into Apple Music. I turn it into an Apple Music playlist for myself. Thank you. Spotify is a perfect example of something that they made cool and it overtook something that is far better. Apple Music is far better, but you want to share your fucking end of the year fucking thing.
Okay. Hold on a second.
They've made something cool.
So I'm Spotify.
Yeah. It's not better.
I don't really know. I don't really care because I don't have any skin in this one. But I've always enjoyed my Spotify music. I've been Spotify since 2018. I've loved my Spotify. Now, podcasting is a little different. So I listen to Rogan a fair amount. Haven't listened for a while. I listen a fair amount. So obviously it's Spotify only. I appreciated the Steve Renazisi joke. It was not on to my knowledge, but I got what he was saying.
I'm sure he was at some point.
Way back in the day. I actually Googled it. I was curious, 10 years ago. So I'll listen to that podcast on Spotify. Now, the truth is, I still listen to most podcasts on Apple. I can say this. Our listeners are definitely trending Spotify.
Because they've made it cool. But I just want you to know, you guys are going for the trendy thing that is the worst thing.
But my question is, why are you saying Spotify's? Let's talk music-wise.
Okay, let's talk music. Number one thing. Here's my hardest and most fantastic, easiest sell. Okay. What's your Andy? When you get off this podcast right now and you finish uploading it, okay, you're gonna take Roscoe for a walk. You're gonna listen to some music. Name a song. What music are you gonna? Just a song. Pick a song.
I'll see the Beatles White Album.
Okay, Beatles White Album. Put on the White Album. Press play. The number one function that dominates Spotify after you put on that first song, create station. You're going to have an epically built station that actually relates to that song. And then it'll run forever. It'll run forever. You could run forever on fucking create a station on thing. The Spotify radio or whatever, trash.
But wait, I don't know what you're talking about, because when so here's the deal. When I go in my car,
yeah,
I haven't created that many playlists recently.
Great. You don't need to.
That's the point. I don't have to on Spotify. They already have based on my listening habits.
Trash. I've heard them. Trash. My
That's
girlfriend. My girlfriend uses it.
That's to you. Like I listen in my car.
I'm telling you, Andy.
Andy's mix number 2 today.
I'm telling you.
Oh, it's a rap one. This other one's classic rock. I like them.
Whatever mood you're in. I'm in a hip hop mood, right? Let me just tell you something for you Spotify people out there. I'm in a hip hop mood, so I get in the car and I go Andy's hip hop Spotify playlist. Trash compared to I'm in a hip hop mood. Okay, here's what I do. I'm in a hip hop mood. I go on and I go, what hip hop mood am I in? I'm in the mood for Big Daddy Kane, Ain't No Half Steppin'. That's where I'm starting. That's my mood. And I put that on, and then I hit create station, and the playlist that generates live in time with that song pisses and shits on Andy's hip hop mix. It does. I don't know what the algorithm is. I don't know whatever, but I am already, I've been dating my girlfriend for, I don't know, I have so much disdain for the mixes that Spotify has created for her that I can't even fucking tell you anymore. I'm like, if I hear this fucking one song again, why have I heard this song? Why do we get in the car and I hear the song every fucking time? Oh, well, it's on my fucking daily mix, which is really similar to yesterday's daily mix.
So I don't have that side by side, which you have, which is like, that's a good comparison. So like, I still,
do you know
what I'm saying? Like you have your girlfriend. Like I don't. Also, like my girlfriend does Apple, but I don't.
I'll tell you this: even with, I still don't know how consistently to listen to music offline on fucking Spotify. Like if I'm not on a fucking thing, what do I have to do? Can I even download? Like, it's like, oh, you can add this to your favorites. Favorites is different than like on Apple. I just hit download the album, download it. Now it's on my phone. If I'm on a plane, I can still listen to that album.
It's so funny to me. Like you guys are so passionate on this.
I'm just going to, I'm going to tell you here's the truth. Listen to me, guys. The music to me, I rarely listen to podcasts unless I'm traveling.
Yeah, so take podcast out of it. I just want to talk
Take podcasts out of it. Shout out to the Craig Kilborn podcast that I just got into. Love Craig Kilborn. The Life Gorgeous. Great. I rarely listen to podcasts. Music is very important to me. To me, no doubt about it. The functionality of Apple Music dominates. Meanwhile, it's the thing that I have Spotify Premium. I pay for both. And the reason I do is because people constantly sharing some shit with me. And then for some reason, somebody wants it and I don't have time to do it, to fucking song shift it over. Now I can play it and I don't have to listen to fucking apps or ads or whatever. When it comes to being a music listener, I get that it's cooler, and I get that all your friends use it, and I get that the playlist is easily shareable, and I get that at the end of the year, you want to show us your most listened to artist. But the functionality of listening to music on Apple Music, as a guy who just wants to listen to fucking music, is better. And honestly, Create Station alone, forget all the other things, but that alone is, if they were like, we got rid of everything except that, I'd be like, fine, I'm an Apple Music guy.
I'm going to throw you something, though, you didn't discuss.
Okay.
and it has nothing to do with the music. One of the benefits of Spotify, I get a free Hulu subscription with that. I'm just saying, like, that's a perk. I get a free, now it comes with ads. I get a free Hulu subscription with my Spotify subscription. That's a nice little perk. I don't know enough about Apple Music to compare because I've been Spotify.
I'm just going to do this. Like, I'm just going to show you. Like, it's already over. It's already over. I went on. Okay? I'm on Apple Music. I picked a fucking song, Patiently Waiting, from 50 Cent featuring Eminem. Okay?
Good
and
song.
then I created a station. Coming up, I have the next episode and Poetic Justice. Based on that. That's what's going on. And as I hit play and I fucking go through, Mockingbird, Eminem, Element, Pop Smoke, Juicy, Notorious B.I.G., Nelly, Ride With Me, Every Girl in the World, Young Money. Tell me how I even fucking do that. Because when I go on Spotify, the idea of doing just that, picking a song, picking a vibe, and doing it is a nightmare for me. The station situation, like, I picked my vibe. This is it. This is my vibe for the day. Let's go. Okay. Roll it.
All right.
Spotify, listen, no doubt about it, has cornered the market on being the cooler app. No doubt about it. I don't give a fuck about cooler.
Who knew? Who knew? People had such strong opinions on this. Give us a ring. Let us know. 310-359-8365. That's the hotline. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at The Dirty Sports. I'm at Andy Ruther. He's at Joe Praino, except for Twitter.
That's right, where I'm at Fix Your Life. JoePraino.com for all live shows. Specifically, March 10th, Last Best Comedy, Bozeman, Montana. Really trying to get some folks out to this. It's a really cool small club. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a fun fucking night. If you're in and around greater Montana, please come to those shows. After that, I'll be in San Luis Obispo 2 weeks later, 24th, 25th. I'm going to be doing some shows there with Pete Sestaro. We're going to be doing Sneaky Pete's Comedy Club. No relation to Pete Sestaro. Different Sneaky Pete. Pete Sestaro, Creepy Pete Comedy Club, Sneaky Pete's. If you want that information, you're just going to have to follow me on Instagram, where I will be putting all that. At Joe Praino on Instagram, at Joe Praino on TikTok, at The Dirty Sports on TikTok. And yeah, JoePraino.com for all shows. I'm coming your way. I have a feeling I'm coming your way. Keep your eye out. I'll be up in San Francisco in April. As you know, baseball season is around the corner. If the Mets are coming to your town, I might be coming too. If the Mets are coming to your town and I'm not coming, I'd like to. So tell the comedy club where you are and your baseball team is that I'd like to come. And guess what? My shows, we got a pitch clock. Well, you'll be in and out in an hour and a half. You can get back to Twitch streaming.
Noise. All right, guys. That's our show. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the Spotify playlist. We'll be back on Monday.
Is there a Spotify playlist?
Yeah, of course there's Spotify playlist. You want me to send you some?
No.
I got some great Andy Ruther ones. I got wild Spotify playlist.
Just tell me one song on it, and then I'll let Apple create a better one for me.
Oh, shots fired. All right, guys. That's it. Stay dirty.